The Stoics were clear. Most of human misery comes from obsessing over things we have no control over. Think about it. How many nights have you lost sleep because of someone else's actions, someone else's opinions, or an event that you had no power to change? We drown ourselves in anxiety, anger, and frustration over things that never belonged to us in the first place. The first step to mastering the art of not caring is learning to separate what's yours from what isn't. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." That's the line you must draw in your mind every single day. What is up to you? Your thoughts, your choices, your discipline, your attitude, your effort. That is your kingdom. Beyond that, people's judgments, their moods, the economy, the weather, the twists of fate, all of these lie outside your power. So why pour your energy into fighting a battle you cannot win? When you obsess over what isn't in your control, you hand away your peace of mind. You become a slave to outcomes, a prisoner to the shifting winds of fortune. But when you turn inward, when you focus on what belongs to you, your response, your resilience, your self-mastery, you find unshakable freedom. You don't need the world to cooperate. You don't need people to treat you fairly. You just need to command yourself. Imagine this: someone insults you in public. You cannot control their tongue, but you can control whether their words enter your heart. A storm destroys your plans. You cannot control the weather, but you can control how you respond to disruption. Life is constantly showing you what is not yours to. Command your job is to let it pass. Do not cling. Do not fight shadows. The man who understands this principle becomes untouchable. He is no longer disturbed by gossip, by slander, by events beyond his reach. He lives in a fortress of self-control. When the world throws chaos at him, he simply says, "That is not mine," and he moves on. This is not indifference out of weakness. It is strength, because only a strong man can look at reality, draw the line, and accept what he cannot change. Weak men resist and rage. Strong men release and adapt. The Stoic warrior doesn't waste his life wishing the world were different. He invests his life in mastering himself. So from this moment on, carry this principle in your heart. Control what you can, release what you cannot. Write it down, repeat it to yourself. Practice it every time frustration rises within you. This is the gateway to inner peace. This is the beginning of letting go. And when you finally live by this law, you will discover something powerful. The world loses its grip on you, because nothing outside of you can shake the man who governs himself. One of the greatest traps in life is living for the opinions of others. We spend our days chasing praise, terrified of criticism, and in doing so, we hand over our freedom. The Stoics warned us, if your happiness depends on the applause of the crowd, then you are their slave. And if your peace is shattered by their criticism, then you have no peace at all. Think about it. How many decisions have you made not because you believed they were right, but because you feared what others would say? How many times did you shrink your dreams because you wanted approval? And how often have you lost sleep replaying an insult in your mind? This is bondage, and the Stoic path is liberation. A man who is indifferent to both praise and blame is unshakable. Why? Because he knows that the crowd is fickle. Today they cheer, tomorrow they boo. Today they admire your success, tomorrow they despise you for the same reason. If you live on their applause, you will die when it stops. If you depend on their approval, you will collapse when it turns into disapproval. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The applause of men is a clapping of hands. The blame of men is a clapping of tongues. Both are meaningless. The opinions of others are like the wind, always shifting, always unstable. Build your house on that, and it will collapse. Build your house on virtue, discipline, and truth, and you will never fall." So how do you practice this Stoic principle? First, by questioning. When someone praises you, ask yourself, does their praise make me more virtuous? Does it make me more disciplined, wiser, or stronger? If not, then it is nothing but noise. When someone criticizes you, ask, is there truth here I can use? If yes, absorb it, learn from it, grow. If no, discard it and move on. Either way, you remain free. Do not misunderstand this. Being indifferent to praise and blame does not mean being arrogant, cold, or careless. It means you no longer let external voices dictate your inner state. You listen, but you do not worship. You hear, but you do not bow. You remain centered in your own principles. Imagine a warrior standing in the middle of a battlefield. Arrows fly, some strike near, some miss, some glance off his armor. But the warrior does not chase each arrow, nor does he cower when they fall around him. He keeps his eyes on the mission. That is the Stoic way. Praise and blame are arrows. Let them fall where they may. Your mission is virtue. Your mission is self-mastery. Your mission is living in truth. So train yourself to be indifferent. When people cheer you, smile, but do not drink it. When people insult you, hear it, but do not swallow it. Your worth is not in their hands. It never was. It is in your actions, your choices, your discipline. Be indifferent to both praise and blame, and you will walk through life like a mountain, untouched by the winds, unmoved by the storms. Life is not meant to go exactly how you want it to. Fate does not bow to your wishes, and reality does not rewrite itself because of your desires. And yet most people spend their lives fighting what already is. They curse their past, resent their present, and fear their future. This resistance is suffering. The Stoics gave us the cure. Amor fati, love your fate. Not just accept it, not just endure it, but love it. To live with amor fati means to see every event, good or bad, as necessary. It means to look at every obstacle and say, this is fuel for my growth. The Stoic does not sit around hoping for life to be easy. He knows storms will come, betrayals will happen, loss will strike. Instead of asking, why me? He asks, how can this serve me? How can this shape me? He turns pain into power, setbacks into strength. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, carrying the weight of wars, plagues, betrayal, and endless responsibility. He did not collapse under the burden. He reminded himself, a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. That is amor fati. Life throws wood, sometimes wet and rotten, onto your fire. Your job is to make it burn brighter. But why love your fate, even when it hurts? Because fighting it changes nothing. Resisting reality does not rewrite it. The traffic jam doesn't move faster because you're angry. The betrayal doesn't disappear because you replay it in your head. The illness doesn't heal because you hate it. Resistance only multiplies suffering. Acceptance frees you, and love transforms you. When you embrace fate, you become unstoppable. Nothing can break you, because everything becomes part of your path. A loss, it teaches you resilience. A rejection, it redirects you to something greater. A failure, it builds humility and strength. Every thorn on the road becomes part of your garden. To practice amor fati, start small. When you are delayed, do not complain. Use the time to breathe, reflect, or learn. When plans collapse, don't rage. See it as the universe giving you a test. When pain enters your life, don't curse it. Ask what wisdom it carries. Slowly, you will train yourself not only to accept, but to welcome every turn of fate. Remember, you are not the master of outcomes. You are the master of response. Fate may place you in the storm, but it cannot dictate whether you drown or learn to sail. When you stop wishing for a different past, when you stop begging for an easier life, you step into freedom. You say, whatever happens, I will turn it into fire. Whatever life gives me, I will use it. That is amor fati. To not only bear the weight of fate, but to embrace it. To not only accept the path, but to walk it with strength. Love your fate, and fate will no longer crush you. It will carry you. It will forge you. It will make you untouchable. One of the greatest sources of frustration in life is our obsession with results. We want control over how everything turns out, the victory, the recognition, the reward. And when the outcome doesn't match our expectations, we collapse. But the Stoics remind us, outcomes are never fully ours. Effort is. You can give everything you have and still lose. You can train, prepare, sacrifice, and life can still hand you defeat. That is not failure. That is reality. The mistake is believing that your worth depends on results. The Stoic flips this mindset. He detaches from outcomes and ties his peace to effort. He says, my job is to give my best. What happens after, that is not mine. Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. What is in your power? Your preparation, your discipline, your consistency, your attitude. What is outside? The weather on the day of the battle, the decisions of judges, the choices of others, the randomness of fate. You cannot control those, so why should they control you? Detach from the scoreboard, detach from the applause, detach from the final outcome, because when you chase results, you set yourself up for slavery. If you win, you're trapped by the fear of losing it. If you lose, you're crushed under the weight of disappointment. But when you commit to effort, when you give your full strength regardless of outcome, you are free. Think of an archer. His job is to aim, steady his hand, and release the arrow with skill. Once the arrow leaves the bow, it is no longer in his control. The wind may shift, the target may move. He cannot command that. If his peace depends on hitting the bullseye, he will always suffer. But if his pride comes from the discipline of the shot, he will always win, even when he misses. That is the Stoic way. Detaching from outcomes does not mean becoming lazy or careless. It means pouring yourself fully into the process, but refusing to let results dictate your worth. When you run a race, run with your whole heart. If you finish first, good. If you finish last, still good. Because what matters is that you gave your full measure. That is victory. Life becomes lighter when you let go of results. Rejection no longer destroys you because you know you showed up with courage. Failure no longer paralyzes you because you know you gave your best. Success no longer inflates your ego because you know it was never fully yours. You remain steady, unbroken by loss, unchained by triumph. So train yourself to focus on effort. Wake up each day asking, what can I control today? What actions can I give fully without clinging to the outcome? Do this, and you will move through life like a warrior, calm, disciplined, and free. The world cannot shake the man who is detached from results, because his victory is always his effort, and effort is always his to command. Every chain that binds a man is forged from his own desires. Think about it. Desire makes you chase what you don't have, crave what you don't need, and suffer when you can't get it. The Stoics taught that true freedom is not in getting everything you want, but in mastering the urge to want everything. The man who cannot control his desires is not living, he is enslaved. We live in a world built on feeding your cravings. Companies spend billions to keep you addicted, scrolling endlessly, buying more, consuming without thought, and what happens? The more you get, the more you want. Satisfaction becomes a mirage, always close, never reached. A man chasing desire is like a thirsty traveler drinking salt water. The more he drinks, the more desperate he becomes. The Stoics called this slavery. They said the man who craves pleasure, status, money, or recognition beyond what is necessary is never free, because his peace depends on things he cannot fully control. A Stoic, however, flips the script. He asks, is this desire necessary, or is it a chain? If it is not essential, he releases it. If it weakens his soul, he cuts it away. Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. True poverty is not the lack of money, it is the lack of contentment. And true wealth is not luxury, it is needing less. A man who can sit in simplicity and still feel complete is more powerful than a man who owns the world but is never satisfied. So how do you practice this? Start with awareness. When you feel the pull of desire, pause, ask, if I never get this, will my life collapse? Do I truly need it, or is it just ego, just craving? Most of the time, you'll see that the desire is nothing more than a whisper of insecurity. You don't need it, you just think you do. Second, practice discipline. Train yourself to deny small desires daily. Skip indulgences, delay gratification. Prove to yourself that you command your cravings, not the other way around. Every time you resist desire, you grow stronger. Every time you say no to what is unnecessary, you remind yourself of your freedom. Third, shift your focus from wanting to being. Instead of asking, what can I get? Ask, who can I become? Desires chase possessions. Virtue builds character. The Stoic knows that no amount of wealth, fame, or pleasure will ever make him whole. Only wisdom, strength, discipline, and self-control can. The truth is this: desire will always whisper, but you do not have to obey. The man who masters his desires cannot be manipulated by society, cannot be enslaved by cravings, and cannot be broken by loss. Because he needs less, he owns more. Because he is content within, nothing outside can disturb him. So cut the chains, master your desires, free yourself from cravings, and you will discover the rarest kind of power, the power of being untouchable, unshakable, and completely free. Life will not spare you. People will insult you. They will underestimate you. They will try to provoke you, belittle you, and drag you into their chaos. Most men respond with anger, with rage, with wounded pride. But the Stoics taught a higher way. Use insults as training and adversity as fuel. Why let words control you? An insult is nothing but sound waves in the air. Yet many allow those sounds to pierce their hearts like daggers. They give strangers power over their mood, over their peace. But the Stoic is different. He sees every insult as a test. Every attack is a weight on the barbell of his mind. Do you collapse under it, or do you use it to grow stronger? Epictetus said, if someone speaks ill of you, remember, they do so because they believe it is true. It is not your concern whether it is true or false. It is theirs. Think about that. When a man insults you, he reveals more about himself than he does about you. His words are a reflection of his mind, not your worth. So why carry his poison in your bloodstream? The Stoic answer is clear. You don't. You let it pass. You either ignore it or you turn it into training. If there is truth in it, use it to improve. If there is no truth, discard it without anger. Either way, you remain unshaken. Adversity works the same way. Pain, loss, betrayal, these are life's insults. They hit hard, but they also harden you if you let them. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the obstacle is the way, the insult, the betrayal, the hardship. They are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. They are the fire that forges steel out of your soul. Picture a warrior training in the cold, in the rain, with heavy armor pressing into his shoulders. The weak man complains, why must it be so hard? The Stoic smiles, this is what makes me strong. Insults are your cold rain. Adversity is your heavy armor. You either use them or they use you. So, how do you train with insults? The next time someone mocks you, do not react immediately. Pause, breathe, smile, ask yourself, am I so fragile that words can break me? Refuse to give them your power. The next time adversity strikes, remind yourself, this is my training ground. Refuse to collapse. Use the storm to sharpen your discipline, your patience, your resilience. Because here is the truth. The man who cannot be offended cannot be controlled. The man who cannot be broken by adversity cannot be defeated. Insults become air, hardship becomes fuel, and you become untouchable. So embrace this Stoic principle. Use insults and adversity as training. Every attempt to tear you down is another chance to rise above. Every hardship is another weight that builds your strength. Stop running from the struggle. Face it, own it, grow from it. And soon the world will realize what Stoicism has already taught. You are not a man who breaks. You are a man who turns every blow into power.